Hello and welcome to Horror Rewind. This is Kelly Florence,
And I'm Meg Hofdahl.
and today we're talking about the 7th episode of The Twilight Zone, Not All Men.
It's such a great title. I mean, I think the title alone deserves an award.
Who wrote and directed this episode?
So it's directed by Christina Cho and written by Heather Ann Campbell. So that sounds about right.
Okay, so first of all, before we get into this episode, always know all of our episodes are spoiler-filled. If you haven't watched this episode yet, I mean, it's probably okay if you listen, but you know what? Go watch it because it's amazing. And also, shout out, we're recording live here at Wordplay, where we got to see Stephen King, y'all.
It was so cool. We got to watch him. We had a great view from our little booth here, and we got to just, hear him tell stories. And I don't know, there was something so inspiring about seeing him, but also just seeing how he's just this average normal guy. But yet when he started talking and you realize that he's created The Dark Tower, It, Misery, The Stand, The Shining, pretty much everything I love, it's just like my mind melted or something.
I know. All I could do was stand here, and I was teary like the entire time he was talking because he has had such a profound effect on my life and has shaped who I am as a person, what I like. I mean, it's nuts.
And like obviously, I look up to him in such a way, like the way he writes is so important to me, and I've learned so much, and just to like be near him was really cool, and to just hear him talk about writing and the process, and also he was talking about like the point of horror fiction, and I don't know, it was a good day.
Yes, if you get the chance to see Stephen King speak, take it because he was incredible. Oh, and we saw his band play at First Ave the other night in Minneapolis, and that was fun too.
That was so fun. And also, can we just talk about, we have not talked about the It Chapter 2 trailer yet. Oh my gosh. Like, I think this is how people feel when they see Star Wars trailers. Not that I don't like Star Wars, I do. But like, the It Chapter 2 trailer gave me chills. I loved it so much.
I can't even describe to you how I felt watching that trailer, and like the nice long slow scene, and not slow in a bad way, slow as in like revealing and just things being a little bit off, and then just a bunch of shots of them grown up. Meg,
I know them grown up, and oh my god, it was amazing. I was so okay. So I was like, Luke, I'm like, did you watch the It trailer today? And he's like, I watched a little bit of the beginning, and then I fast forwarded it to like see stuff at the end. I physically wanted to hurt him. I was so angry. I was so mad.
Like, do you not have an attention span for a conversation?
Yeah. He was like, well, it was a really long scene and I didn't have much time. And I was like, I hate you so much right now. I'm like, that trailer was so important to me and you just fucked it up.
Wow. Well, let's go crap on him.
Okay.
Not literally. Okay, we need to talk about this episode. Meg, I loved this episode so much I cried.
It was, I don't even know how to describe it because...
Wait, if you didn't love it as much as it's okay. You can crap on it. But I don't know, because I don't know what you're about to say. We haven't talked about it.
No, I'm not going to crap on it. No, I'm just saying I loved it too. It was, it took the whole, I think what they're trying to do with this new reboot of the Twilight Zone, and I think it took it to a whole new level of like, obviously social commentary, and made it so fun. And I think my favorite part of the whole episode was the beginning, when it was so subtle. There's this idea that like a date rape situation or like somebody being an asshole, it's so obvious, but the way that they did it, and they showed these subtle things that men do, hashtag not all men, that was so important to me, because it's about those little things, of those little subtleties that make you the asshole.
Exactly. And so it's these microaggressions that people don't even realize they're doing. You're on a date, you're over, and it's like, well, you shouldn't have come over unless you were going to sleep with me. It's like, wait, why does it have to go to this place? And it's like you said, it's all subtle. The way that she was treated at work, and it's like, ooh, she's not really into this guy. She might be, but now she feels obligated. And we've all been there. We've all felt like that. And every situation that they showed, it felt so real. And I didn't pick up on it, but right in the first scene they're talking about the placebo effect with this chapstick or something, and I was like, shit, that's brilliant.
Yeah, that is brilliant. I didn't pick up on that either, but I think what was so cool was it was those little things where it was like she was on the phone and then she was having trouble, and he witnessed her kind of have this like weak moment, and she's like, yeah, I have trouble saying no, and then that's when he asked her to come over. And it's those little things that men like him pick up on. And things like, oh, it's so magical, everything's so magical. He would like say like, oh, and like trying to sort of get in her mind. Fascinating.
I loved it so much. I loved that there was obviously this meteorite or the meteor, angle, and they were thinking that this is making the men act this way. But really, in the end, it was their choice, and they were just assholes.
Yeah, I think that what I liked about it too was like you could, if you really wanted to, you could watch this completely straightforward. And I think that's important when you're developing something like this, is you need to be able to watch it on that more like surface level. And it's actually kind of a cool concept on its own of like there's this meteorite coming and it's only affecting men. And I was thinking like I want to watch this movie so bad where this is happening and then all the women have to work together, and like I wanted to like continue this world because I think it's just so neat, and I'm sad we only got 45 minutes of it, So you can watch it on that surface level, but this idea that they were choosing it. So this is my one little tiny teensy weensy little complaint, but maybe you can help me like suss it out and figure it out. Is it was a choice, then why the guy at the very end was an ass? Why wasn't he affected by the meteorite? Because I thought then that the only guys not affected by the meteorite were the guys who were choosing to be good.
Well, no, but he thought, in his mind, oh, I'm not affected, but then it just proved like, look, it still is a choice, even if you don't think that you're making that choice. You still are an asshole for some men.
Yeah, I think it was all those subtleties that are really important. But I'm talking about like when the guy was like, you should smile. And then I was like, wait, what? That confused me a little bit, because I guess maybe I was seeing it too black and white. But I was like, well, then he's a jerk. Why doesn't he have red eyes? And you know what I mean? Do you know
yeah, I do. That didn't bother me. Okay. But also then I was, the gay couple, I was hoping, I'm like, oh, wait, are they saying if you're gay that you're not affected by this? And they didn't. Yeah. But then also the nephew, was able to get away from that and choose not to be a jerk. So I just loved it so much, and the cast and how it was shot, and oh my God, all those scenes with Ike Barinholtz, is that how you say his name? That was so good and creepy, and I just felt like it was classic Twilight Zone.
Yeah, it was. It was like all the blood on his shirt, and when he's like, blow out the candles, it was so creepy. And it was really like, while last week's episode was very sci-fi, this was very horror. Even though it had that meteorite sci-fi element, there were so many great like horror shots like that when they go out. Oh, and there was the mansplainer. That was great. So there was just so many. It made me smile so hard, but then it also was like, oh my God, what's gonna happen, so it brought me to all those places I wanted to go. I was gonna ask you, I saw somebody talking about how somebody posts on Facebook like, oh, should I watch the new Twilight Zone, what do you guys think? And everybody who responded was like, it's so different than the first one, the original. And I was like, I didn't say anything, but in my mind I was just like, is it though? Is it that different? Obviously we're talking decades apart, so there's differences there, but otherwise I don't think it is.
No, I feel like it's very classic. I've also heard people say it's not going far enough. I think it's very classic. The things that are different are they are allowed to swear, and it's obviously set in the present day, but no, I feel like if you like the old Twilight Zone, you're gonna like this one too.
Yeah, I feel like that too. I was just kind of thrown off because I was like, I feel like, I don't know, it's doing the same thing that the first one was doing. It's exploring all the same sort of issues that unfortunately are still issues today. And obviously now we get to maybe explore them even more openly, and I don't know. I think this is the whole point of horror and storytelling, are things like this, where we get to have characters like these women. Thaisa Farmiga, like her character is not this perfect person. She's struggling. She's dealing with being a woman, and I don't know. It was fascinating. I love it.
Let's rank this episode on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 being you hated it, 10 being you think it's a perfect hour of television. Should our scale be the meteorites or the bloody knife to cut the birthday cake?
I like, yeah, let's do the red meteorites, I think. Yeah.
Oh, they were doing shots with them. That's so gross, men.
I know. And that's the thing, too, is, like, I don't think men are aware of, like, how scary they can be when they get, like, aggressive, you know? And, like, when they are in bars and they're really loud like that and stuff. So, yeah, the meteorites.
Okay, how many meteorites do you give Not All Men?
I'm going to give it 9 because I thought it was amazing. I loved it, but it didn't bring me to the same emotional place that I was at the 3rd or 4th episode. It didn't bring me quite to the same emotional place as that, as the rewind or replay. So I'm going to give it a 9.
I'm giving it a 10. I loved it. I also love replay though. So, you know, they're equal in my mind in different ways, but I felt so many things. I freaking loved it. I loved the twist at the end, and I love this TV show.
The twist at the end was good. I have to give it that is like that it was a choice and it was a placebo type thing. Like, that was brilliant, actually. I do love that. So maybe I'll give it an extra half point now that you remind me of that.
So listen, if you listen to all of this and you haven't watched the Twilight Zone yet, check it out. I love it. I think it's cool. Make sure to pick up Meg's newest book, Daughters of Darkness, and the first, if you haven't read the first, Her Dark Inheritance yet. And then also make sure to pre-order our book, The Science of Monsters, which will be out October 1st. But you can already pre-order it via Amazon or wherever you buy your books. So until next time, we'll see you in the horror section.